pass back to the PGA circuit? Think again. Just when we thought golf's civil war was over and a new phase breaking dawn thanks to the LIV-PGA peace talks, Spanish golfer Jon Rahm comes swooping in with his pitchfork and out for a pound of flesh, demanding punishment for breakaway golfers in light of rumored returns. He has inevitably ignited a controversial debate worth pondering. But why exactly? Let's find out. Just like that, it has been a year since the drawn-out conflict between the PGA Tour and the Saudi-backed LIV Golf took center stage. The air was tense, relationships were strained, and trust was broken. On the back of joining the mega-rich Saudi-backed series, LIV players were given a stern punishment, marking the start of what seemed to be a bitter feud. The said LIV players were banned from competing on the PGA Tour. That being said, it was over faster than you can yell for every hatchet buried deep under the sand, never to show its face again. With the PGA reaching an agreement with the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund, the tour will be teeing off alongside LIV in a merger. The unprecedented merger of sorts between both factions was met with much fanfare, but one of the first questions on the lips of most who dared to look beneath the surface was whether the deal would see players from the breakaway circuit return to the PGA Tour. Alas, with the agreement suggesting there would be a path for defected golfers to reapply for membership back to either the PGA Tour or the DP World Tour after the completion of the 2023 season, it felt like a no-brainer. So then, why is the already answered question still the topic of a heated debate? Take a look at one of the biggest names in golf. When the fight between LIV and the PGA heated up, with the former taking advantage of its riches to snatch superstars from the latter, he was one man who chose to stay loyal to the PGA. Of course, we're referring to none other than Jon Rahm, the Masters champion who stuck with the American circuit despite the mass migration of stars into the Saudi-backed series. Despite turning down what must have been a mega money offer, the former world number one appears to have no regrets. Speaking for himself, he stated he had already made an amazing living working with the PGA. Getting a bigger payday with the breakaway circuit was just not as appealing. However, the Spaniard is not too pleased with the prospects of the merger, giving a free pass to defected players and welcoming them once again with open arms. After all, if you really think about it, those who departed for the LIV appear to be the big winners of the announced merger. They took cool millions from the LIV circuit and still have the option of taking a route back to the PGA Tour merely a year later. To put it plainly, it doesn't sit too well with Rahm. He believes the defectors should not be getting a free pass back to the PGA after being disloyal to the American circuit. On the one hand, while he does not mind the golfers coming back, he still believes the tour shouldn't be letting it happen without some form of repercussions on the other. I do believe that some punishment should be in order, but I don't know what. I'm not a politician. That's not my job. That's for the disciplinary board and other people that are paid to do that. My job is to hit the golf ball and try to do the best I can. His brutal message comes after the speculations of the PGA Tour planning a worthy bonus to award its loyal golfers who didn't consider the allure of having a significant pay rise in the breakaway circuit. That being said, it is worth mentioning that while Rahm admitted he doesn't think his loyalty should be compensated, despite understanding the reason why the circuit would be deciding on such a move, he would not be saying no to the bonus should it ever arise. However, when it comes to his bold stance concerning whether or not LIV golfers should be accepted back to the PGA with open arms, the PGA group may just become the villains. Before we go into why there's no easy way for the group to maneuver the situation, it is crucial to carefully dissect and analyze the implications of Rahm's stand and the contrasting perspective in this debate. Doing so could give us a better understanding of which option could be the best path for the PGA Tour moving forward. Diving deeper into the conundrum by the simplest of logic, there are two perspectives: open arms or punishment. Let's start with the former, the argument for forgiveness and second chances. On this end of the spectrum, the PGA should be cutting the defected players some slack. It should be noted that both the PGA and the LIV are now under one house. Punishing the players does not seem like a smart thing to do, and it's not so hard to see why they feel that way. The returning LIV golf players have already been punished once. Joining the Saudi-backed circuit saw them pay the hefty price of forsaking their PGA privileges during their time away. why should they be punished once more? Rather, just as the merger announcement implied, the tensions between all factions concerned are now at ease. Welcoming back any player who would like to play in the PGA again serves as a gesture of reconciliation and unity that could go a long way in nurturing the new face of golf. Besides, it would also show that the PGA acknowledges the rights of players who choose to explore the opportunities of working elsewhere. Moving on, there is still the other end of the debate, the stern argument for justice or, dare to say, reward for loyalty. Proponents of this position, like Jon Rahm, believe it would not be fair to the PGA loyalists if the LIV defectors were simply allowed to rejoin without any repercussions after gaining a lot of money and other substantial benefits in their time playing for LIV. To be fair, it is worth arguing that a seamless re-entrance rewards disloyalty and could indirectly send the wrong message to those who shunned the allures of the breakaway circuit and stood by the less seductive PGA, possibly leading to feeling a sense of betrayal or dejection, questioning whether their steadfast dedication to the organization was a wise decision, or if they would be willing to take again if the hands of time could rewind. When you think about it, it's not so crazy to see why good behavior should be rewarded. It is in the PGA's best interest to appreciate and recognize the loyalty of those who stood with them during the tumultuous times. If everyone who got tempting offers from LIV accepted the juicy terms, who exactly would the PGA have been left with? They would have been in a bad place. As things stand, all eyes are on the PGA. Everyone would be watching with rapt attention to how the tour will be striking a balance between justice and forgiveness. Regardless of whatever path they choose or what measures they take, punishing the returning players too harshly is counterintuitive. Why cause a rift while trying to build a bridge? Seamlessly letting them back in without consequences may also leave a bitter aftertaste in the mouths of the loyalists. To satisfy both possibilities, one thing is absolute. The PGA must sit amongst itself to engage in a hearty dialogue and transparent decision-making to ensure its choice aligns with its core principles and values. For now, guys, there may be a middle ground. The returning players could be handed a period of probation and restrictions to demonstrate their appreciation for those who chose to be on their side. The good part is, with lenient restrictions, there would be enough room for accountability and second chances. A great silver lining. In addition, there is still the prospect of dashing out worthy bonuses to their loyalists. Sending a worthwhile incentive would do well to acknowledge their loyalty and unwavering commitment. If done well, it could prevent their golfers from being tempted by external offers should such a saga as the LIV-PGA feud happen again. Only time will tell what will come of this, but for now, it's time to ask the difficult questions. In your opinion, what would you consider to be the best way forward for the PGA group in the light of the difficult conundrum on their hands? Do you think the returning players should be welcomed back with open arms and without consequences? Regardless of what your feelings and thoughts might be, the topic calls for a diversity of perspectives, and we would like to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. See you there! Remember to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to stay updated with the latest news in the world of golfing.